I know Lewis will be joining
Solutions.
in a minute
Yeah,
as well. I was just texting with him.
yeah, that's fine. So as you can see, I have this Google Drive folder, which I believe I shared with both of you. And I created this welcome email for us what to do. All you gotta do is watch this email first, or watch this video first, and I'll explain to you exactly what to do. Okay?
Okay.
Inside the different folders, I separated the folders into both of you. You have a couple of different things. Number one, you have the key phrase filters, job locations or job titles, locations folder. Please add your calendar link. If you don't have a calendar link, we got to have a quick meeting to go over that with you guys to set up your calendar links. I found that doing this beforehand over the years, it's much more convenient to give someone a link like this, meeting bird link here, to book themselves. Otherwise, you're spending a lot of time going back and forth between yourself and the prospect, trying to find a time that works both of you. I find it's just easier to, probably the best thing for us to do is have a telephone conversation. Here's my calendar, just book one's convenient for you. Give them your calendar link, and then they can just book it there. And if they don't book it within a couple of days, you can, circle back to them again and try booking it manually. But I found that saves me just a ton of time with my prospects having this kind of calendar link. So do you guys already have this kind of thing? You have a calendar or anything else at all?
I don't have like the meeting bird thing. We're only typically just using Outlook
Okay.
and
So yeah, so we'll create those. If you want to do that right now, we can quickly. Otherwise, we can book a supplementary meeting, each of you separately, just to go over that, as well as I'll have to book a meeting like that anyways to go over your laptops and install the software.
okay.
We can either do that now or we can do that later on. It's up to you guys.
You know what? Why don't I'm of the opinion we maybe just set a separate call for that, and then
Okay,
we can kind of focus on the main stuff we want to kind of achieve
sure.
today.
Okay, so you guys have my calendar link. Hopefully, if you don't, here's my calendar link. Here's mine, copy, and then there you go. Here's mine. What I want both of you to do is book a 30-minute phone call for the next 7 weeks in a row, every single week, so we can just go over the process and have a quick little chat. It might take 5 minutes. It might take the full half hour. I don't know. It all depends on the challenges you guys are having on your side with what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll put the same thing on yours also.
You said for the next 7 weeks, Alan.
Yeah, 7 weeks. Yeah. Now, obviously, we're running the holidays. We'll just try to work around that. And, if we like for December, whatever, if we run into anything like that at all, just book it for the week afterwards or the week after that. Doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that we're staying on track. The biggest challenge I see for my clients working on these things is that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it. And if I have a quick phone call with them every single week, I'm keeping them on task.
Okay.
Okay. Put your mobile phone in here. So that way, if we have to text each other, I find that texting is a great way to communicate. It's quick, it's instant, and there's no waiting like emails, not seeing an email for a while, right?
Okay. And that is my cell phone number. So I did.
Okay, great, awesome, great. So I'm just gonna put this thing onto, let's see here, onto Jeff's also. Okay. There goes, great. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to put some software onto your computers that will automate a lot of the process for you. It's not going to compromise your account at all. I'm working with a software developer for this for a long time, and every time there's a new change by LinkedIn, this guy is like on it all the time. Then we're going to use the custom avatar worksheet. This is very important for both of you guys to fill out because many salespeople I find have never really done this beforehand. And by reverse engineering who your best clients are, and if they're on LinkedIn, we can figure out, well, how do we access more of the same? And it's very, very simple to do this. And I'll go over things with you, but you guys need to go into this custom avatar worksheet and probably put down the 10 best clients you've had over the last 1 to 2 years, what industry they're in, what the company size was, what their city was in, the professional job title of the person you first contacted in the company, the professional job title of the person who signed the contract with you. Sometimes it's the same person, sometimes it's someone else, the company name, website address, and what sort of services did your company do for them. And then we can once again go into those together and figure out, well, you know, if you had this one great client, why can't we find 10 more of the same type of person in different areas of the country? Make sense?
Yep. I had actually started working on that now. Now these are like, I've been here since February, so we haven't, I've gotten maybe one
Right,
contract.
but you can talk to other people in the company though, right? And figure out who they are.
What's that now?
You can talk to other people in the company, people who've been there longer than you have, and figure out who they are.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Is Jeff's going to have probably a number of others that he could, a number of them that he could probably contribute on that.
For sure, absolutely, you can work together. So I know that both of you will be focusing on a little bit different sides of the industry. So we need to figure out, well, who are they? You know, what are the professional job titles of the people you want to talk to? And any information you can put down here of what industries you're focusing on, what the job titles of the people that you're going to be talking to have on LinkedIn, and locations and everything else. Then we come down to the initial messages. Now, LinkedIn has just done an update that I don't know if it's going to affect your profiles yet. They haven't rolled it out throughout the whole platform. The initial connection message used to be 300 characters less. Now LinkedIn is making it 140 characters less, which gives you a lot less possibility of information to put in the initial connection message. Although the initial connection message and the first follow-up message, which the software can do automatically for you, has to be done in such a way that is not trying to sell them anything at all. How many times have anybody gotten a connection request from someone on LinkedIn only to accept that connection request from somebody, and the very second you do, they say to you something like this: thank you for, accepting my connection request. Here are my services. If you ever need my services or my products, don't hesitate to contact me. And you're thinking in your mind, well, yeah, I kind of got that. I know if I want to contact you, I will, but, it kind of puts you off the person. The old adage of no one will care how much you know until they know how much you care couldn't be more true on LinkedIn than it is in today's day and age. So it's very, very important that the initial connection message that you send somebody and the first follow-up message, what the software will send for you automatically also, doesn't contain any type of sales message at all. It states what you do and what you've done for people, but it doesn't say, hey, if you ever need my services, don't hesitate to contact me, or do you want to buy from me, or do you want to set up a meeting to talk about what your needs are. You will lose the prospect totally, and you won't get any engagement at all, and you'll never make any sales on here. We've got to send them a series of messages and create the relationship first. Then once the relationship is done and you guys send the messages, that slowly kind of figures out, well, what do they do and what are they doing for the company right now, and do they even have any need for any of your services at all. And we're going to do that by a series of messages which are on the conversation spreadsheet here. So these should be the messages that you kind of create, and I'll help you guys make them better. But I want you guys to fill out these templates over here, buy these samples to kind of slowly, the whole adage of boil the frog slowly. Right? You guys all heard that, right?
No.
First time I've heard.
Okay, so you put a frog in a pot of boiling water, it'll jump out right away. If you boil the water slowly, the frog will stay in there and won't realize he's being boiled alive. It's kind of morbid, but it's true for sales also, right? If you go in for the kill right away, after you met them 2 seconds later, you wouldn't walk into a networking meeting and try to sell someone your packages or services within 2 seconds of meeting them. You're going to ask them who they are and what they do and how they're doing and what's happening. Maybe do some family stuff or talk about family stuff first. And then after you figure out, who they are and what they're doing, do they even have a need for your services at all? Like the whole idea is how can we position both of you to be the absolute experts in your field? And I'll be going over your profiles with both of you also. I'm not sure if I have one of your profiles on here. And I'll also be creating a background banner that you guys can load up to your profiles here. So it's very, very important, once again, that we're creating both of you to be the absolute authority in your niche and to modify your profiles as to presenting solutions and solving problems as opposed to what you guys do. For instance, on your profile, Garrett, it says you're the president, but it doesn't say what kind of solutions does Servicing Solutions provide. What kind of problems can you guys solve for people? Because really, when people go to LinkedIn and they're going, they're receiving these messages from you, they're going to be looking at three different things. They're looking at your profile, they'll be looking at your company page on LinkedIn, and we're going to be making suggestions for editing the company page as well, and looking at the website. So all these three properties, profile, company page, and website, all have to say similar things, and they all have to be not feature-based, but benefit-based as to what you guys do, what kind of problems can you solve, what type of situations have people come into, what kind of examples of the problems that you solved can you put on your profiles so that people know that when they come there, you guys are the guys. Like Servicing Solution is the place to be for the problems that you find that your clients face on a regular basis. So I'm sure that you, Jeff, probably more than Garrett because you're older than Garrett in the company, but I'm sure you've heard your clients saying these type of statements to you all the time. Hey, Jeff, thank God we found you guys. Before we tried these other people's, we had these problems over here. You guys did a phenomenal job of helping us out in this situation.
Absolutely.
But no one is ever putting that information and those messages and those things that your clients are saying to you anywhere at all. And therefore, other people coming to you who have similar problems or similar situations have no idea that you've already solved these problems for other people also. And so by doing all these things, and once again, I'll be helping you out with everything, as well as on a regular basis. Let's just go to Jeff's profile for a second. My mouse is acting all weird here. Why the hell is going on here? Okay, Jeff. By going on to your profiles and looking at what you're doing, we're going to be doing this, as well as putting on posts and articles that are not just, hey, we're at a trade show, come and see our booth. It's going to be, what do you hear, once again, as the problems from your clients over and over again, and what can your company do to solve that problem? Those are the kind of articles and posts that both of you should be posting on your profiles. And here's how you do an article. You guys already do articles and posts already, I'm sure you do, but here's the button for writing an article. You click on this, it goes to articles, and articles are simply longer posts basically. You put in a a picture here of some kind, and then you put on whatever else you have on there. I had a good catchy headline. I even have a article writing formula that I'll put on both of your profiles. It's like a notepad file, note file, but here's how I write an article, which is figuring out, number one, what the article is going to be about, then Googling that article, then finding a picture, and then, once again, laying out the article that is interesting for your clients. Some of the best traction I've seen on articles and posts as far as engagement are articles and posts that are very personal, things that have happened to both of you. Examples, once again, of solutions and problems that clients have come to you with that both your companies have solved, or your company has solved for your clients. And so those are the kind of things that I find personally gets the most traction on LinkedIn. The next thing we'll be doing is talking about creating search strings. So a search string is when you go onto LinkedIn and give an example of an industry and a title, a professional job title of the person you want to contact on LinkedIn are. Just throw it out there, either one. Guys?
Garrett, Director of Collections.
Director of Collections? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just hopefully LinkedIn will pop up with the, here it is. So, Director of Collections. Okay. So on Sales Navigator, and I'll show you how to do this. In fact, there's a Sales Navigator video here. Here's the video creating a search string with Sales Navigator, as well as a great PDF I got from LinkedIn on how to use Sales Navigator. But I'll be holding your hand and showing you how to do this in person also. So here's Director of Collections. Here's all filters. So it'll be people. Actually, cancel this out, and we go to people instead of jobs. So Director of Collections, here is 334,000 results plus on LinkedIn. Go to all filters, go to the USA, apply. It'll always be also second and third as far as the connections go, because we want to get brand new people onto your profile that never heard of you beforehand. Okay? Also, depending on how many people you have on your profiles, I can show you how to tap into your current database of people who already are connected to you that maybe you want to reach out to again, and don't want to have to do it by hand because that's very time consuming. So you can see I have a piece of software on the bottom here, this whole thing over here. You'll have it on your computers also, and I'll show you how to use it. Once you have these filters on here, we want to bring this number over here down to 1,000 or less, and not because the software can't handle it, is because how LinkedIn displays this information. As you can see in the very bottom here, it has numbers 1 to 100, and they go to page 100 on here, and then in the top bar over here you see it says page equals 100. I go to page 101, even though 100 pages and 10 people per page is 1,000 people. Go to page 101 and gives you an error message that you can't find any more people. So we got to keep the numbers as far as how many people that the search string produces on 1,000 or less, otherwise you'll lose them. You won't be able to use the, if we use this one over here, we get the first 1,000 and miss 183,641 people. So it's very, very important we bring the number down to 1,000 or less to work within the parameters of LinkedIn and work within the parameters of software.
Hey, Alan, how do we keep track of when we send 1 through 999 and then 1,000 through almost 2,000? How do we keep track?
you won't do that. You won't be keeping track of that, because once again you'll bring the individual search strings, which you'll put eventually on the key phrase filters locations job titles spreadsheet at the very, very bottom. You'll track the search string over here. So let's say we created the search string on here and we brought the number down by putting filters into here and we did it financial services, and we put the professional job title of the person as manager. And you can see that brings the number down dramatically from 184,000 down to 240 or 2,475. And we'll keep on putting more filters on there until the number is 1,000 or less. Now, if the number, after doing all these filters on there, the lowest you can bring it down to is, let's say, 1,100, 1,200, don't worry about it, use it anyways. Here is what the search string is. It's the piece of website address code on LinkedIn, and all you do is you'll put it here and just pop it in there instead. And then you'll figure out what the parameters were of that search string. It'll be, in this case, it was Director of Collections, USA, Financial Services, second and third, and the manager. So you put all that information into the file here afterwards, and then you'll put the date you used it. Say 16th today.
Yep.
So you'll put in all that, yeah, 16th today. So you put all the information. The reason we want to keep track of this and put the date in there is because if we get some really great engagement on one of the search strings, we want to be able to reverse engineer it and possibly use it again. And what I mean by that is going back in the search string and simply changing one of the parameters, like either industry or location. And because we know that that group of people, for the rest of the filtering and the rest of the parameters, produce some great results for you as far as engagement and booking telephone calls and meetings. So we can reuse it again, but change a couple of parameters within a search string rather than trying to do it all over from scratch.
So Alan, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So based upon the criteria that you created, which was second and third, financial services, collections manager, or director of collections, then manager.
Yeah.
If that is a sweet spot or a honey hole, we had 189,000 of them, right?
We had 189,000 of the basic ones without financial services and without manager in there.
Then it dropped, but then we've still got a sweet spot there that we're missing out on everything over.
Well, no, but then you can collect the rest of them once again by changing the parameters on Sales Navigator. So maybe as opposed to financial services, it'll be hospital and healthcare, right? So you don't lose them at all. You'll just have to figure out what other parameters there are within these people. Like, for instance, go onto the results over here at a credit union, right? So maybe it'll be financial banking, whatever, or a collection agency. So we'll go through the people who were producing the search string for the bigger one, let's say, like we do once again, we take these two filters out, take out manager, and take out financial services, and we'll apply again. It goes back to 184,000 or whatever it was beforehand. It will go back to there. And then we look at, well, what areas of the world, so maybe they're in Florida as opposed to Indiana. This one's in Los Angeles, so you won't lose them. It's just a matter of being creative to put different filters on there to collect the rest. Make sense?
So one of the ways you could do it is just put the filter instead of the whole United States, you could put California.
Exactly. And on Sales Navigator, which I want both of you guys to purchase as an ongoing subscription, I'll show you how to use the finite minutia of the Sales Navigator platform that can really laser target. So where, let's say, regular LinkedIn, which is what I'm using right here right now, might have, California. So California, okay? It has all these locations in California. But Sales Navigator will have triple or quadruple the areas in California. So be able to really take those search strings and come down to the finite little areas, as well as Sales Navigator also has company size and company revenue. So if you know that your sweet spot is, 100 to 500 employees, normally for a company size, what you normally service as far as company size, or let's say, 1 million to 5 million in revenue, then we'll be able to use those filters on Sales Navigator to create the search strings. The whole idea is, how do we get both of you in front of the correct people as opposed to in front of everybody? Sound good?
Got it.
Okay. And once again, I'll be going over that, with you, both of you. But hopefully, you'll both have looked at watched the video here, and also read the Sales Navigator LinkedIn PDF before our conversation, so that you'll have a basic understanding of what I'm talking about. So when I train both of you on how to use Sales Navigator, you'll know what I'm talking about beforehand. Lastly is the client lead tracking sheet. So normally on my Done For You program, my team tracks this for you. Because you're doing the foundation program, you guys need to track this yourselves. And you can either use this or use another CRM for yourselves. But on this one over here, we only put in the people that are actually corresponding with you. Not everybody you connect with on LinkedIn, because it'll be thousands on here, but only the people who are either a hot lead, warm lead, these kind of things. That way you can track these things for yourselves afterwards, and you can figure out who you spoke with. Here's an example of the tracking. What date you talked to them on, their name, their LinkedIn URL of their profile. Here is your profile URL, Jeff. We're going to change that for you to make it a little bit better, as opposed to having all these numbers at the very, very end. And that way you can track who you're speaking with, when you're talking to them, and you can circle around to them afterwards to make sure that you send them a proposal, or you're following up with them properly, and you can measure your metrics.
Sounds great, man.
Okay. And then you can also put your meetings you have with people on this sheet over here, and you can target by segment. Change these. I just copied this from another client of mine, so that you can have something to go from, as far as what you're tracking and who you're talking to. The biggest challenge I found when I started doing the foundation program in the very beginning, and that's the only program I had the very first time, was following up. I needed to create a system that would help me follow up with people afterwards, and that's why I created the tracking spreadsheet. So the things I have to do with both of you, and just go on my Meeting Bird file and maybe book a 1 hour, is creating your Meeting Bird links, as well as also creating or installing the software on your computers and getting you up and running to do the search strings. Once you do the search strings, you'll create the search strings on your LinkedIn profile, and then once you have that, the software will collect those people and send the messages automatically, and it will even be able to use short codes in the software to pull the prospect's first name, making the message a little more personal. But once again, not trying to sell them anything off the bat. Very important.
Alan, can I intervene real quick?
Yeah.
Because you keep talking about me and Garrett. We'd agreed last week that you're gonna commit to working with both Garrett and Lewis, but Lewis through our rep. Is something changed since then? Because I'm a little.
No, I just assumed I was working with you and Lewis, Jeff. So you and Garrett's profile. So whose profile are we working with?
Mine, Lewis Achoas.
Okay, Lewis and Garrett.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so then so as opposed to being Jeff's file, that should be Lewis's file then instead.
Yeah, I mean it. I didn't want us to go 2 hours and you continually talking to me. And I know that we're basically majoring in the minors, but yeah. We committed to working with Lewis, our CEO, and sales, and they were going to basically work with us to get ours tighter for the program.
No problem. Yeah. So I'll work with those two.
All right, brother.
So, and then I know you have 2 other people on the call right now. Well, what will be their role in the whole thing?
Well, one of the 2 is going to be, after we get the profile all set up and that, one of the 2 is going to be taking over the work on mine.
Okay, right. So I'll be working with that person then also. So make sure that person, what's his name? What's your name? Or
Jamal.
Sorry, John, he said?
Jamal.
Oh, Jamal. Okay, Jamal. Okay. So Jamal, yeah, you'll make sure that you're on the phone calls with Lewis or the Zoom call with Lewis when I do his meeting bird and his thing, so I can, if you'll be taking things over and actually managing his profile for him, make sure you're on the calls with me. All right.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So that's it. That's basically how things are going to work. When do you guys want to book those phone calls?
Let's see.
Are you available tomorrow?
Yeah. Here's my availability right here. So tomorrow I have the whole afternoon available. So why don't you, you guys are on, what time is it where you guys are?
I'm on Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, so you're 9:32 right now, or 9:33. Okay, so just book it. I have from 11 a.m. your time on available. So just go onto my meeting bird and just book those two meetings, and let's have an hour for each of you.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. And then then we'll go through the whole thing. I thought we are doing all that stuff on today's call, but that's no problem at all. We'll just do it on tomorrow's call instead. So what questions do you guys have?
I don't think I have any questions. I'm looking forward to using the Sales Navigator stuff. I went ahead and got signed up for that this morning.
Awesome. And make sure, Lewis, you do the same thing on your side.
Will do.
And,
Yeah.
started
And then
playing with
also on this folder here, I'll do a new one here called Meeting Videos. Every time we have a meeting on Meeting Bird or on Zoom, I'll load up the meeting videos to this folder, and that way you can watch them again at your own leisure. If you miss something or want to refresh something or want to look at something again, it'll be on here, okay?
Yep. Hey,
Sounds good.
I do have one question, Alan.
Yeah.
And that's related to the Meeting Bird stuff. So does that tie to, can that tie to my Outlook calendar? Or how does that?
Yeah, it can. So there's a piece of software you guys can buy. It's not expensive at all. Here it is. I'll put the link into the chat box on Meeting or Zoom right now. Sync 2. It's what I use myself personally, and it'll just sync your. So Meeting Bird works with Google Calendar, and Sync 2 will sync your Google Calendar with your Outlook calendar, and that way everything will talk together. And it's like one-time purchase, $50 for each person. And that way, and then also when you have, let's say, a time when you're not available, either by other meetings or by personal stuff, all you'll do is do what I do on my calendar, which is just type in the word booked. So here's booked over here. So I had a time I had to do some personal stuff. So just type on booked on your calendar. I go on my Sync 2. I right click on it, synchronizing all. It does it automatically every 10 minutes, but it'll just sync everything together. And that way everything will talk to each other, and you'll be able to see who you have a meeting with. And then on Meeting Bird, we'll be able to create the Meeting Bird in such a way as you can figure out, where's my Meeting Bird here? And the questions you want to ask for people. Where is my Meeting Bird here? There it goes. You can have different meetings. You can have a 15-minute, a 30-minute, a 60-minute if you want to. So, and the questions you can ask on Meeting Bird.
When you guys are setting up your meetings outwardly to potential clients, you should use this, and it makes it, you don't have to go back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a big time saver, and they'll be able to see on your calendar when you're available. So on my Meeting Bird, it'll provide what location they're in, right? And then, what their name is, their phone number is. Also, you'll be asking them for the LinkedIn profile, so you can go on your LinkedIn afterwards and figure out who you're speaking with. And then any other questions you want to have on there, you can put in there, and everything goes to your goes as an email to your email address, and then it comes into your Outlook software or your Gmail software, and that way you can see who you have a meeting with right away. Keep track of everything. And then also, Lewis, you can go on their calendars when you want to, because they can share their calendar with you, and you can see how many meetings they've had, who they've had a meeting with, that kind of thing, and you can have some oversight. So here's the.
How do you set it up to be through your Outlook versus the Google? Because for me, the Google thing is like a personal thing that I never use, but Outlook is what we use at work.
Yeah, so it'll be through Outlook, Gmail or Google Calendar, but it'll sync with your Outlook. So it has to be MeetingBird is through Google, but using the software here, you'll be able to just use your Outlook calendar if you want to only.
Got it.
And I'll help you set the whole thing up when you're on the call with me tomorrow. Just buy this beforehand, and we'll set this up, and we'll set up your MeetingBird, and then we'll sync your MeetingBird with your Outlook. And that way, and then on what do you call it, Garrett's Google Calendar, we can add you as a viewer of his calendar, and that way you can see what's happening with his meetings and who he's talking to also.
Right. So Jeff, go ahead and get that as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, is Jeff going to get this, or is Garrett? I thought we're not working with Jeff.
No, I know, but just in general.
Okay, in general. Okay.
In general, as he's setting up meetings with potential customers, this is a good product to have versus. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be happy to go on your. I'll be happy to have a quick meeting with you, Jeff. Also, if you want to create a MeetingBird thing for yourself, I'll be happy to do it for you, no charge at all.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. So, any questions you guys have at all?
No questions. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, all you got to do for tomorrow is hopefully go through the email, go through the welcome video, watch it quickly. It's not long. It's like 15, 20 minutes long. That's it. And then do your homework, hopefully. I'll have today's meeting inside the meeting folder very quickly after we finish our call today, and then we'll go and create the MeetingBird link. Also install the Sync2 app on your computers, and get everything going. And then just look at these files here, and make sure you guys can go over and change the 2 initial messages. This one over here, the connection message, and the first follow-up message as well.
Got it.
Okay. And don't worry about this group thing over here. I'll just take this off. This guy wanted to drive people to a group. But for you guys, you just want to say something very, very simple. Thank you for accepting my connection request. As I mentioned earlier, this is what my company does. I was on your profile. I'm very interested in learning more about you. Can you tell me more about yourself, what you're doing right now, kind of thing. That's it. Simple, simple, simple. And then after they respond to you, then we start using a series of pre-formatted messages, which you can open up on your conversation spreadsheet and just copy and paste. And then maybe change a couple of words on there. But the whole idea is you don't want to be writing every single message from scratch. You want to have a system that you can easily use, even on your phone. Even I find on my smartphone. Mm-hmm. I have the LinkedIn app, and I have these files on my smartphone. That way, if I'm sitting there, let's say an appointment, waiting to go something, doctor's appointment, waiting for my kids at school, waiting in traffic, I can go on my app quickly. I can respond to people. I can just copy and paste the message and maybe, change the top part, hi Dave, hi Susan, hi, Mark, and just put in this message here quickly, and this you respond to people as opposed to sitting there, doing nothing at all. I find it's a very good time organizer.
It's Jeff.
Yeah.
Have all these been converted into 140 rather than 350?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You had mentioned when you begun the conversation that each one of the introductory letters were going to be skinny down to
300. Yeah, so you got to we'll go onto your profiles tomorrow once I install the software, and we'll see if the LinkedIn has already done your changeover or not. If they have, I'll just figure out how to par down your message. If they haven't, we'll use the message. So the message originally has to be 300 characters or less. And if it doesn't work on your system, we'll just par it down to 140 characters.
He doesn't know whether they've changed your particular LinkedIn, so you'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, LinkedIn hasn't rolled out the change in everybody's profile yet.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha.
So we'll figure that out tomorrow.
Mine is still at 300.
Yeah, most people are still at 300. And the only reason I know this, LinkedIn, I'll tell you right now, LinkedIn is terrible, like absolutely terrible at putting out any of their own information. They'll roll out a change, and they won't inform anybody that did it. And all of a sudden, you'll be going on there going, what the hell is going on here? This is not working anymore. So my job for my team and myself is to talk with other LinkedIn professionals on a regular basis, and once a new LinkedIn change comes in, disseminate the information down to my clients. So I'm on LinkedIn every single day doing this kind of stuff.
Awesome.
If something changes, I'll be able to tell you guys right away.
That's fair.
Awesome.
Okie dokie.
Good stuff, Alan.
Okay, man. So
right,
book your meetings on my calendar for tomorrow, and we'll go from there. And then buy the software and everything else.
All right.
And do your homework.
Thank you.
If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact me. You can text me also.
Hey,
My
Alan,
text number is on the things
Alan.
over here.
Hey, before you jump off, did everybody get the email with the homework on it? Because you were sending it to me. It's
Just forward it to anybody you got forwarded to. I only had 3 email addresses.
No.
So I only had.
I'll
no, it's Jamal speaking. I didn't get it.
Yeah, just forward to them. Just forward to them. That's all.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And obviously, you'll be forwarding Jeff's email because Jeff will be Lewis now. And I'll change this to files as soon as I finish talking to you. I'll change this all over to Lewis over here.
Jamal will be Lewis. Jamal will be Lewis.
Yeah.
Not Jeff.
And I think originally, Alan, you had me, Lewis, and Jeff on the email for all the quote unquote homework stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll just forward that to Jamal so he can go in and take a look at it. Does he need to have a Gmail address?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So Jamal, if you don't have a Gmail address, create one quickly so you can view the stuff. If you haven't already, just email to me. Yeah, just email to me then, all right? And I'll add you to the drive.
Okay. I'll email when you send you my Gmail address.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
You saying?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay?
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Alan.
Bye.